what we're going to do now is to have someone who did some work after going through the workshop, and I thought that the benefit of that knowledge, what I call the practical exercise, the practical experiment, the shoes on the ground, will aid you in thinking about how to get to where you want to go from here. So, my colleague.
Okay, so thank you. So as you know that 2 years ago, so I've attended the meeting, not the meeting, the institute. So in Kuala Lumpur, so in Istana Hotel actually. So it was a 6 days, so it's way more than this 1.5 days. So I would say that this is only an appetizer. So I remember that when I was there, so the second day I just get started to warm up. Oh yeah, that's what we are doing actually. So it's more than active learning, and it's on the responsible science and things like that. So it's a more complete package that I would say. So this is the photo that you have seen, and just a little bit of activity. So it's exactly the same as what we are doing. So they are using the active learning pedagogy as a tool for us to learn and to educate like responsible science. So this is the activity that you can see at the end of the day that we were having a lot of discussion, and it was very good discussion. So it's from different institutes and different countries. And I think this one we were singing, Jay. So it's at the end, yeah. So it was singing, yeah. So at the end of the whole thing, so in the closing. So these are some of the activities that we do. It's the same things on the table, writing and drawing, so mind mapping. So it's pretty much the same as what we are doing yesterday. So just the thing that we have more content, so it's a longer period of time and we have more time. So I'm not going to talk on this one. So after the institutes, the 6 days institute, so we were given a chance to apply for a very small grant to USNS, but it's a very big one, it's a generous one for us to actually conduct a workshop in our own institution. So 4 of us, like me from University Malaya, and then Dr. Najib from UTM, and then Dr. Chow from UPM, and Dr. Abi from Perdana University. So all of us got the grant, so we go back and then we carry out or we conduct the workshop. So in University Malaya, I was the first one to conduct the workshop, so among 4 of us. So, and to be very fortunate, so all of us, 4 of us work very closely together. So Dr. Najib even traveled all the way from Johor to KL. So to help me out with the workshops, because I was the first one. So to be frank, I was pretty nervous because it's not the topic that I'm used with. So if you are asking me to talk about microbiology, I'll be very comfortable. But you're asking me to talk about responsible science, that is something really very new. So Dr. Naji, Terming, and Abi was here, give us support and to help out in the conducting of workshops. So I think some of you here, I think Sharifa was there, Ong was there, and then Sim, I think Bong was there also. So then they have expressed a lot of interest, so therefore this time they come back again to experience and to learn more, so hopefully we can have a better team to go around. So in UTM, Dr. Nabi actually has 3 workshops that he has done within his department, so I think to lecturers and also to graduate students. So that covers quite a lot and it's very active. And then myself, so I've won in last year, March. So there are around like 25 participants, like majority, we will have mixed lecturers, and then we have research officers, and then we have graduate students that come together. So there's even like one team, the lecturers, and then bring all the graduate students to come. And then they have a very good discussion over there. And after that, I had another one more informer to my students, just in the lab. Then after that, UPM, so Terming and Abi, and also in Perdana University, so by Abi and Terming also. So I was there to help out with them on how to run this one. So it was, the one in Perdana University was just, I think, last month. Yeah, so it was just conducted recently. So 4 of us work together because we cannot work alone. So we need a lot of like facilitators to help with this type of work. So this is just a little bit of like, picture, photo to show that how we
Sorry.
So as you can see, so it's the same thing. Tables that people sit together. So we try to break it up, like not to put people from the same faculty to sit together, so that we have more interactions. So this is what you can see, people sit together. So a lot of them we have never met each other before. So yeah, there are lecturers, there are students, so in one group, so that we can exchange information and to also induce discussion on responsible science, so they can look from different perspectives, from the perspective as a researcher, as a lecturer, and then as a student, and also as postgraduate fellows. So this is what we do. So we have a lot of discussions. So you can see that is Avi over there. And then this is the group where this lecturer over here brings a lot of his students, and they have a lot of debate, I would say argument, debating on how it should be, so how you should treat me and things like that on mentoring. So then we have this is Dr. Rosalie, so to present on, I think it's on authorship and mentoring, and this is Dr. Naji over here. So we were discussing so on the topics. And in this one, we actually had role play. So where we gave a scenario on mentoring, on authorship issue, on who want to be the first author, who want to be the corresponding author, topics. Then we have them study the case, and after that we split them into groups. So this one act as the principal investigator, this is the postgraduate fellow, and this is the students who did the work, and they are fighting to be the first author and things like that. So they were having a very great debating. So who should be the one and things like that. So we took quite some time on this role play. So people love it. So they refuse to stop. So that's the thing. So one of the challenge for me in conducting this workshop is like, how do we control time? How do we control discussion so that it's within the scope that we want? So a lot of time I find that it is, because when we get excited, so we keep talking and talking, then we forget about time. So that is the thing, time management. So some of the work that we have done during the workshop, so we have exposed them to mind mapping, so on how to present idea, how to discuss and put all the ideas together and things like that. So we do talk on a little bit on human participants, on biosafety and biosecurity based on case studies. So they put all these things up, summarize and present it. So the lessons that I've learned from organizing this RCR workshop is like, in the first place is that, of course, I would say that even though I've gone through a 6 days of training, which is a little bit more, but I feel like it's rather short. It's still short, yeah, period of time. So that's the thing. So after the workshop, after the 6 days workshop, so all of us we feel like, yeah, I wanted to do this. This is what we want to do, and this is what we need. So the fire is there. So we got the tools how to do it, the active learning, which is really, very, very interesting to me. So after the workshop, after the institutes, so the thing that we need is like the commitment. So if I'm alone, so I won't be able to do it, but I have like 3 colleagues who is very helpful and share the same fire, same thinking, same thoughts, like how to put this together. So we have committed ourselves in like pushing this, moving this forward. So that's why when we have a chance to apply, so 4 of us, we said we wanted to apply for the grants and to do it in our own institution. So commitment is very important. So after you finish this workshop, so you step up, so now you have the interest, you have the fire, then after that, what do you want to do is the commitment is very important, because you need to commit yourself, spend time and energy and effort in putting all of this together. And then you need support. So support is very important. So in my case, I have USNS who is very helpful. So Prof. Helen from ASM who is very, very supportive for us to run this thing. And then I have also the support from Deming, from Naji, from Abi. in running all this. So 4 of us and together with the ASM over here, so we work as a team. So we communicate through emails. So for the past 2 years, so we have been communicating. So how to run this, what to do this, so we have a lot of challenges, but support is, I would say, is the most important other than the commitment. Yeah. So we need to look for support for post-facilitators. So as you can see, this is active learning. So it's not like lecturing that you just need one person to stand in front to talk. So you need people to sit together to help you to run around and then as a facilitator to facilitate all the discussion and things like that. So we need to have like support on logistics also, the places, the things, and also financial is very important. So as you can see over here in most of, I think in most of the Malaysian scenario, when we have workshops, we have seminars, people will be thinking about what about the meal? So we need to get money to sponsor the meals and things like that. Financial, printing of materials, the reading materials, all of these need a little bit of financial. So I wouldn't say that it's a lot of money, but it's a little bit of like support on financial. Will be good to kickstart this type of things. And institution support, which is, I find that it's very extremely important if we need to push this or to move this in a university, in an institution. We need the support from the top management, which is really, really important over here, that to make it a success. And then training materials. So we spend quite some time to prepare our training materials. So even though we got a lot of support from USNAS, but we try to make it in our own Malaysian context. So 4 of us sit down together and then we have a discussion. So even Najee is in Johor, it's very far from us, but we have internet, we have email, so we communicate quite a lot on our materials. Sharing, so we have a common Dropbox of shared documents. So after we have prepared our materials, so we just drop in there, we share with everyone. So you are free to use it and modify it to your own context and your own institutions. So experience very, very important over here. So my experience, like the first time I ran it, I was really, really very nervous. So very nervous as how this thing is going to run. And because it's active learning, it's in a round table, so it's unlike the way that you used to do it, like standing in front, talking, at the end, just finish. I follow, I read from whatever slides that I've prepared. So but in the active learning, I find it something really different. Is like you never know what the output will be, what people will feedback to you. So how the discussion will run. So it's quite open, so you need to prepare yourself really a lot for all the unexpected and how to put all of these things together, and also control of time. Time is my main problem over here, that people get really excited and then talk, and then after that, it's very difficult for us to stop them halfway. Yeah, then they feel at this point. I want more time to talk about this one. One of the feedback from my previous workshop was like, people commented, I wish that we have more time so that we can discuss more deeper in certain topics. Yeah. And then another challenge on the experience will be like, a lot of us came in with, I wouldn't say misconcept, but our previous experience that I come forward to a workshop for responsible science or authorship or something. I expect that I come in, you tell me what to do. What is it there, like, I should follow, what are the policy, what is the guidelines, then what to do, what not to do, then I will just take a note because they came with the notebooks. Yeah, to write down, so this is what I want. But when they came in over here, so it's more on the active learning, so I do not provide you with any solutions. You will need to come up with your own solutions through discussion, through your experience, sharing of information, and put all of these things down. So then how do I put all of these things together? And then when participants ask questions like, if there's this scenario, what should I do? And then these come to experience like, how do I respond? How do I lead the discussion? So I think I will need more exposure to all of these so that I'll be able to, you'll be able to run. Okay? So in implementing active learning, so as you have learned, like I think most of you, the most impactful thing that came to you was like active learning. So a lot of people talk about active learning rather than on the content of responsible science. That's exactly the same thing happened to me in the previous, like 2 years ago, the 6 days institutes. On the second day, I was like really like, wow, the active learning is really, really very good. In my teachings, I keep thinking about active learning, but less on the content. But I think on the third day onwards, so I start to feel like, oh yeah, this is the responsible science. How do I apply like active learning to teach responsible science, to change the misconceptions and things like that. So after the workshop, other than like, I committed myself in running the responsible conduct of science or research, I learned a lot on how to teach using active learning. So I start to apply also active learning pedagogy in my class because I find that it's really, really very useful. So, but for us, like over here in Malaysia, to implement active learning, there are a lot of challenges. For example, in the logistic barrier, so our classroom design, which is really not suitable. So a lot of our classroom is not like this one. So we have like fixed tables and chairs in a classroom style that I find it rather difficult to put people in groups to talk and to discuss. So that is one of the challenge. So therefore, right now when we run our classes, I try to apply. So I try to look for a laboratory where we can put students in groups rather than in a classroom. And then connectivity and also limited resources. Like a lot of times you see that students nowadays they use a lot of internet, Google and things like that. So we do not have like internet connections. So some of the resources not available for us to run it. So for those like who have like clickers, of course it's very good, but we have learned also how to use the low tech. So that's the part that I as a lecturer need to prepare all these things before going into the class. So I will need to invest a little bit of money to prepare all these materials that I can use it. So those are some of the logistic barriers, and also not to forget about time. So a lot of us, I do not know of the other classes. So how long is your class? So in my class, it's like I have like 50 minutes per session. So 50 minutes is just too short to run an active learning. So nowadays I request for a 2 hours session. Instead of breaking into 1 hour in Monday, 1 hour in on Wednesday. So I put it together in 1 week so that I have longer time to do it. Then mental barrier, fear of deciphering of lecturer's role. So a lot of us, we are too comfortable as I'm the teacher. So I teach, you listen. So don't argue, don't ask why, just listen and memorize. So that is like, we have been taught in this way. So now we put ourselves in the role or as facilitator instead of a teacher, instead of a lecturer. So you are decentering yourself, so there's a little bit of like fear over here, so how I should do it. So what if like the student argue back, how do I manage the questions, how do I manage the time, how can I cover all of these objectives within the time frame that we have given. And lectures lack guidance in implementing active learning, so we do not have much guidance, we do not have much training, so a lot of us came in as a lecturer to teach and to do research at the same time. A lot of us have been trained as a researcher, how to do research, how to write proposal, but we have never been taught how to teach or how to be a good teacher. So all these techniques, they are not there. So the first day I came in, so I was given, so this is what you're supposed to teach, and there's nothing else. So we need to learn from starting from the seniors, so how I should teach this one and things like that. So it takes some time for us to figure out. So that's one of the things. So not to say about the active learning. So in University Malaya, we already have a module. Everyone's supposed to use active learning to teach our students. But the thing is like, how do we go around this one? How do we teach using active learning? We are not given much guidance over here. Yeah. Then unfamiliar to students. So as what I said, I've encountered this experience before. Student came in, so we start to practice active learning. But the student has this concept because all the past 12 years they have been exposed to the classroom style. So the teacher stand in front, talk, so they learn, they absorb. So that's what they call learning. So but when in active learning, so we require the students to learn from each other. So I also learn from them. So there's a lot of activities, talking and things like that. I would say that in my experience, majority of the students love this type of activity that stand up, talk and walk around, not sitting. So, but there are a small group of students that we call good students. They do not prefer these methods. They think that they want the classroom style. Tell me what is important over here. So what I should study, what will come out in the exam. So that's what they want. But I would say that a lot of like the so-called bad students, those never concentrate in the class, those students, they love these methods. So they change a lot of their concepts, so they think that learning is interesting in this way, that they actually learn more. So then we come to a subject that they really got very interested, a lot of discussion, so they go beyond the whatever objective being set. So they go home, they search for more, and after that they came back and asked me, I read about this one, so like for example in the case of like banquet, I learned about this one, so what is it all about? I want to know more. So do you have textbooks? Do you have information? So that is really fantastic. So I feel very motivated to run. So after the students came back with a very positive feedback. And then implementing barriers, the class size. So a lot of us ask, like if I have a very big class, like 100 or 200 students, how am I going to run the active learning? I think I've never experienced this before, because right now the class that I'm teaching is really small. 20 students, 25 students, so it's within my capacity to cover. So I have no experience on how should we apply in a big classroom. So I think probably we can probably look for some methods, probably whoever over here can help us, like how we can apply active learning for big classrooms. Yeah. And after that, it's time consuming. It's really time consuming. So because like for the time of 2 hours, so I need to really design the thing that we only learn on the practical part. So I ask the student to read whatever text being given, so that they have some basic knowledge before they come to the class. Because I won't have time to cover every single thing. So that is the part that a lot of the good student doesn't like it. Yeah, they do not like to study in the home at home and without the lecturer in front telling what is it, and explain from A to Z. So they do not like it, some of the students. So support in changing curricula, syllabus arrangement, class schedule. So these another barriers over here. The syllabus have been designed in such a way that it fit in the classroom style rather than the active learning. So we need to do a lot of changes in the curriculum. So the class schedule, as I said, like 50 minutes is not enough, just not enough for the active learning. So students' knowledge is unequal. So a lot of time we find that the students in a class of students, so we have like some students with a lot of knowledge on the topic, and some students with like barely know anything about it. So when we have like group discussion, so if those like the so-called poor students sit together, so it will be very lack of communication and things like that. So I always try to break up so that they mix together and things like that, so that they learn from the so-called good students, and it will influence also on their behavior, on the studying, the behavior. So those are all the lessons that I've learned from active learning, from responsible science. So I hope that you can probably, after this one, go back and try, and this is what you will expect. I know what will happen. So probably we can share information and things like that on how we can move these things forward. Okay. So thank you.
Elsie, thank you so very much for that.